To be perfectly clear, it wasn't very often that the talents from FaZe Connect did in-person collaborations. In fact, it was rare for a few of them to even venture outside their own homes. The monkey ear of a sad girl company wasn't too far from the truth in many cases, and even that didn't hold true for every one of them. It definitely did for Pipkin Pippa. A pink rabbit girl who was also a Walmart enthusiast, don't ask too many questions, didn't exactly do social interaction very well, unless doing so over the internet counted. Nevertheless, whether it be by her fish boss's orders, yet again, don't ask too many questions, to get her more aerial socialization, or just her own spills of motivation to get out there and meet up with someone. There were occasions where she'd meet up with her friends and fellow talents for one thing or another. This time, it happened to be an off-collab with the FaZe invader herself, Kaneko Lumi. Contrary to popular belief, Kaneko Lumi was not a cat, except on rare occasions she grew an adorable pair of yellow cat ears, and was in fact a star. Though she didn't come from FaZe world like Pippa or the rest, and despite being a stellar body in the shape of a woman, she fit in with the group quite well. In fact, she and Pippa were kindred spirits, despite differing in almost every way, all the way down to their cleanliness habits. Though they both had a penchant for somewhat skimpier clothing, albeit for very different reasons. Despite those differences though, the two were good friends and had fun streaming together, so much so that Pippa was actually excited to leave her house today and come over to Lumi's place for the collab. Though they lived fairly far apart, space worked differently in FaZe world, and a quick pop through a couple of dimensional holes cut the long trip down to about 5 minutes, give or take some TSA on the FaZe world side. With that in mind, Pippa was able to pack light. Too light, some may say. See, Pippa was only wearing her skivvies, not to say that she usually wore more than that underneath her housecoat. In fact, most people were used to seeing her in her poofy brown bloomers. Today was a bit different though, since those bloomers were in the wash. And so Pippa came to Lumi's house with a different pair of underwear than usual, a worn-out, ratty, kinda smelly pair of black granny panties, which even had the complete package of chunks of missing elastic and a tendency to ride up on all sides, especially when she slouched low in her spare desk chair Lumi had provided for her. The star didn't really mind much, though. How could she, really, when she was wearing little more than a glorified pair of bike shorts? She teased the rabbit before stream, of course, as all friends would, but she was more than happy to allow her friend to lounge around in her undies. She definitely wasn't going to give the unkempt rabbit a pair of her own pants. The stream was going well for the first hour or so. They both decided, after the success of their previous movie watch-along, something about white girls and dogs, to locate another shitter of a B-movie that they could react to without worry too much about copyright claims, and after some searching, they found their target. Birdemic Shock and Terror. As mentioned, things were going swimmingly, both in the movie and for the two eccentric ladies, all the way up until the scene where the two main characters fell in love, if that was what the wooden acting was trying to show. Getting very close to a TOS violation, the leads shared a scene in the bedroom in just their underwear, and while they enjoyed the calm before the toxic bird storm, Lumi and Pippa jeered on from the sidelines. "Ew, that's fucking gross," Pippa lisped, sticking a finger down her throat at the sight of the two actors getting dangerously close to intimacy, like she was going to make herself vomit. God, I thought this was just some shitty fucking B-movie. Why are they so horny? Well, when a man and a woman love each other very much, Lumi began in a sing-along voice, smirking at her friend. Pippa's cheeks went pink. "Shut up!" she screeched. "I fucking know that!" Lumi cackled, briefly shifting her attention to chat. She wouldn't be a very good streamer if she didn't check her audience's opinions every once in a while, especially after an exchange like that. It was what she expected, largely. A few random people tossing out kek W emotes, some schizzos typing a full-on wall of text about whatever was troubling them on that particular day, many caps lock Lumi or yellow woman messages, etc. The usual Twitch chat fare. But amidst those benign messages, one in particular stood out. It wasn't even related to what was going on in the movie, but it caught her eye. No Pippants, no Pippanties. There's a bit of a meme amongst Pippa's fans, be they capitalists or hareens, or was there a difference? For one reason or another, it seemed a huge chunk of her audience believed that her favorite internet rabbit didn't wear bottoms of any sort. This was obviously untrue. Of course, Pippa truly didn't wear pants. That was obvious. But as Lumi could clearly see, the Pipkin was absolutely wearing Pippanties. Impulsively, Lumi giggled and chided the chatter. But chat, Pippa is wearing Pippanties. Almost instantly, Pippa's cheeks grew redder. Her pink eyes snapped toward her blonde friend, and she shrieked, "Lumi, shut the fuck up!" "Oh, come on. They can't see them," Lumi assured her. And it was true. The camera was situated high enough that both ladies' lower bodies were entirely shielded from view. It was something Lumi usually did without thinking when it was only her, but something she made the conscious decision to do today after witnessing a bit of uncomfortable camel toe from her bunny friend. But the thought of the camel toe gave her an idea. If the camera really couldn't see Pippa's lower body, no, chat, she is wearing Pippanties, right? But Pippa, who was now sitting forward and covering her underwear from where she was, suspicious the camera was pointed, froze. Her bunny ears flicked. "What?" she repeated nervously. Lumi laughed under her breath, preparing to do something she'd done countless times to unsuspecting victims before. "Hey, Pippa." The rabbit's blood ran cold as she felt the blonde's fingers curl around her waistband of her black underwear. Her own experiences with this very thing flashed before her eyes, and unlike Lumi's, they weren't on the fun end. "No, wait! Wedgie!" Lumi cheered, hiking up Pippa's panties up into the air and wedging the fabric up between her butt cheeks. "Wedgie! Wedgie! Wedgie!" "Oh, fuck, stop!" Pippa screeched, clapping her hands over her crotch and wiggling in extreme discomfort as her sweaty, rough underwear dug in deep between her butt cheeks and chafed her ass-cracking crotch like a rope burn. "Lumi, you fucking bitch, stop it!" As the chat went wild, Lumi cackled evilly again. "Nope," she crowed, tugging on the waistband even harder. "Hey, Pippa, I think I can get these over your face. I swear to fucking God, I'll kill you if you do," Pippa yelped, still wiggling as the wedgie got even tighter and her panties neared her shoulder blades. The thought was all the worse, considering it brought back all her loathsome memories from when she was younger of spending hours at a time stuffed in a locker with her foul panties hooked tight under her chin. She wasn't gonna do that again. She couldn't. And as it turns out, she wasn't going to have to, since just a moment after Lumi pulls intensified, Pippa's black Pippanties, for lack of a better word, disintegrated. They must have truly been on their last legs, because at the slightest inkling of real strain, they shredded, ripping right off Pippa's body in a messy hunk of tight strings, fabric chunks, and a name tag. Both women were left shocked, Lumi holding the remains of the nasty shredded fabric gingerly in her fingertips, and Pippa looking at her with her mouth agape, cheeks painted scarlet, and eyes so wide it looked like her irises had shrunk. With a nervous giggle, Lumi said the same thing that the chat had turned to a wall of, "No pants? No Pippanties? Lumi! I'll get you some spare shorts."